going to be doing, actually I'm going to start a series of videos. The first video we did is the basic bread dough recipe. It's easy, it's doable, and it tastes amazing, and it's so healthy. So I didn't post a video last week because I came up with so many ideas to do with the basic bread dough. I did too many in one video and we had to start over. So I'll be starting a series the next few Saturdays. We're going to be doing all of the different things you can do with just your basic bread dough. Make it just like normal, and then there's lots of fun, amazing, yummy things to do. It's so versatile and it's so healthy and it's so good. My family has all put in their votes of their favorite things, so we'll be doing different things with the bread dough. So today we're going to do a cinnamon bread dough, like cinnamon bread roll-up kind of loaf with raisins or whatever you want to put in it. But I get so excited about the bread because it's so healthy and it's so good for you, and I'm just so excited people are watching and I'm able to help some people. When I first started this journey with the milling my own flour, which sounds crazy and ridiculous and like nothing I'd ever do, we were all really sick and not feeling well, and we ended up in the ER 3 times with one daughter with just debilitating stomach pains that wouldn't go away, and the best we were ever told was, oh, probably she shouldn't eat gluten. But they tested her for celiac and just everything, a myriad. She had every test done and nobody could give us answers. And so as moms do, we start digging and researching, and I thought, okay, it's the preservatives, because every time we ate Cheez-Its or Goldfish, we got real snotty and kind of cough, and I thought, okay, it's bad stuff, it's preservatives. So we started making our own bread, and which was better because it was only a few ingredients, but it was still with kind of the dead flour that's on the shelf at the store, and we're baking our own crackers and stuff, and it was better, but we weren't there quite yet because we were still sick, all of us, with various problems. That is a story that's very long. And I went down the rabbit hole of research, like if we are healthy and our kids run around and play and we don't have a history of sickness, why are we so sick? I couldn't believe it. And there had to be a reason, there had to be a why. And I fell upon different home milling channels, and they kept talking about Sue Beckers, and I thought, well, who is this lady, and what she's selling, and it's going to cost a fortune. But she is a food microbiologist that loves the Lord and loves clean, good food. And I encourage all of you all to look up Sue Beckers, and she has 2 talks that are really good. One is Do Not Eat the Bread of Idleness, and one is The Staff of Life, I believe. That one's a longer video, but she explains down to the science why the store flour is not very good for you, and why we're all sick. I mean, just look around you, we're sick, and everybody says it's the bread, don't eat gluten, don't eat carbs, don't eat bread's bad, and it really got me thinking, because Jesus said, I am the bread of life. Why would Jesus compare himself to something that's bad for us and makes us all sick and is a problem? And some people say, oh, it's just what they had back in the day. But I think the Bible is the same and as applicable to us today as it was through every generation since it was written. So there's truth in it. And if Jesus said, I'm the bread of life, it means something. It's not just a flippant. He doesn't speak words, void words, null words. He doesn't talk just to talk. So we really dove deep into that and saw what we have allowed science and humanity to do with our bread, and tear it apart and rip it to shreds and serve us dead endosperm of the seed, and not actually how God intended us to eat the bread, which is the whole seed, milled and eaten right away. If we know now, if you crack the seed, in one day, I believe it's 45% of those nutrients and vitamins are lost, and within 3 days, 90% of the nutrients are gone. So it's not meant to be milled and put on a shelf, or it will last longer in the freezer, but I don't know what the rate of decline in the nutrients is in the freezer. But if you look in the Bible, there's so many verses on bread and millstones and those things, and in history how people were paid in wheat and salt and stuff, and that this sustains life. It's healthy. It's good for us. This bread is good. Bread is not bad. So when I first started learning about all this, it just sunk in. It's like sin. When we let it get in, it ruins everything, and it's like we take this good bread that God gave us and this good seed, and we just rip it apart and sell it, the brand animal food companies and the minerals here, and we're left with the bad stuff. We rip it apart and ruin it, and then we wonder why we're sick and not feeling good. So this is my diatribe today and my rant. So anyways, I sat in church one day when I kind of did all the researching, and I sold some stuff here that we were ready to sell, and I had the money, and I ordered my mill, my first mill, I have two, and my Ancestra mixer, which is a Swedish workhorse. We love her. She is a member of the family. She makes making bread super easy and fun. So anyways, I can talk more about her one day if y'all want, but I sat in church and said, God, if this solves our problems, I'm not going to shut up about it. I'm a private and quiet person, and I don't go out and talk to other people. So for me to do this videos and have it where other people can see it, it's a big deal. But it's because I believe in this, and firsthand, you can hear secondhand accounts from everybody, and that's great, and that's what helped me make the decision to change how we eat. But firsthand, I watched all three of my children get better. I watched all three of my children's stomach aches go away. I watched sniffles go away. There's just so many issues. So this is, and my husband and I are thinking clearer and feeling healthier, and a lot of other problems, which I don't need to share now, have gone away. We're healthy and vibrant, and we feel good. And this bread, it keeps us from snacking, because it's not empty bread that you eat a piece and one another and another and another, and you're snacking all day. I have a couple of pieces of toast, and I'm great. I'm good for a while. My husband loves the Ezekiel bread, and he can eat one of those and be great till lunch, and snack on that if he's really hungry, because his work, he can't always eat right at noon, but it sustains us. So I'm just so excited about this, and it's true, and it's real, and it's healthy, and it makes you feel better. So if you all have any questions, just ask him. I'm happy to answer or make a video about something, but I'm so passionate about this. So, okay, done with that. Now we're getting into cooking. So today we're going to use our basic bread, how we normally make it. I double the loaf that's in the cookbook, and again, we'll put the recipe in the information box. So we double what's on the recipe, and it makes us 3 loaves. So today we're going to take one of those loaves and make a cinnamon raisin bread that's delicious and drippy with goodness and sweet and yummy. So I hope that this is something you want to see, and that we can make some good food together. But before it rises, I'm going to weigh it so that we can put a third in a separate bowl so we know how much is in that loaf, because we need to add, we're going to put raisins right in the dough and have it knead in a little bit. So I got to get the dough out and weigh it. And today our handy weighing helper is my husband. So Jesse, let me get this out and then just divide the weight by 3. And this is our helper, Evangeline. Can you say hi to everybody? Okay. Oops, that's milliliters. We want grams. Okay. 2595.
865.
865. All right. Every time I make bread, it's a different number. I never get the same number twice. But it depends on the humidity. It depends on how the year your wheat was harvested. Was it a wet year or a dry year? 865, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Oops. Oops. Too much. What's the number in the tens spot? 6. Good job. 865. Okay. So I'm going to squirt this with oil and get it ready to rise like normal. We're going to put our larger one just because it's the one I picked up. Swoosh it around, and we'll put it in a warm spot, a warm oven with the light on, not with any heat is what I... So we're going to put the dough back in here, and we're going to put, if you like a lot of raisins, 3/4 a cup of raisin. If you like fewer raisins, then 1/2 cup of raisins. Okay. Okay. I'm going to get 1/2 cup. Oh, I got it. It went all the way around. You can put 1/2 cup. Also, to the dough here, we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons if you like a good cinnamon flavor. If you want a little bit less than just 1 teaspoon, you don't have to add it if you're not a huge cinnamon fan. But to the dough, we're going to do 1.5 teaspoons because we're cinnamon happy people. Sorry, you want to put that in? And then we got to do one more. Can you get it up? Ah. There we go. Yeah. And then mix it till you feel like it's oh, they're gonna lick it. It's gonna burn. Mix it till you feel like it's incorporated, and then we're gonna let it rise just like normal for an hour. Our dough is amazing. These are the 2 loaves, and this is our cinnamon raisin loaf here. So real fast, this is Amelia, our second daughter here. I'm going to weigh these in half to just put as regular loaves for us because we need some more loaves. And Amelia's going to put this out. I have a really neat silicone mat here. It's pretty thick. I like it because it's thicker than most of the mats. It's called Dough Easy. It says this is how we roll. It's got lots of good numbers to, well, we'll see why we need numbers in a minute. Just kind of get it out and start to kind of make a square. We're going to attempt to, for the width of it, this is the bottom of it is 9 inches. This is a 2-pound loaf pan. So we're going to attempt to have this be 9 inches, and then we're just going to roll a nice little rectangle out from here. So we're going to use, there's a Norpro roller with 2 rollers, and this just has 1. I don't actually know where I got this, probably Amazon. There's no name on it. These are so much easier than the big rollers, because with the big rollers, if it starts to be a wonky, like all my pizzas look like Australia. Every time it looked like Australia. These, if one end starts to come in, you can just whoop whoop and fix it. So we'll leave the pan here so you can kind of see how we don't want it wider than the bottom, not the top, the bottom. If it's too wide, you're going to have to squish it in to fit it in the loaf pan, and we want to not squish as much as possible. So start to roll this way, probably no more than that, like to here-ish. Okay, so there are 3 different main ways to make cinnamon bread. So if you're doing 3 loaves and you want to freeze them, then it's really easy. They freeze amazing for 2-3 months. They're wonderful. I'm sure they're good longer than that, but so we're going to add a cup of sucanat, which is brown sugar, but a healthier version, and I'll talk about that in a minute. A cup of sucanat, and for us we do a heaping tablespoon of cinnamon. And first we're going to put down some butter just to help everything stick really nicely to it. Now, if you want to make it super easy, throw in your raisins, throw in a tablespoon and a teaspoon probably, or more. If you want more cinnamon, do it. If you want less cinnamon, do a little bit less. Throw everything into your mixer. This is one way to do it. Throw everything in your mixer, let it go, bake it like a normal loaf. And then you'll have all the flavors in there. But when you cut into it, you're not going to see that nice roll that usually you would see in a cinnamon roll. Helps if I have grams, not milliliters and ounces. 856, 860, good enough. Okay, the second way is to roll it out like this without having put the raisins in it. Some people have family members that just absolutely do not like raisins, and they want to be able to pick them out really easy. So if you don't want raisins in the actual dough, don't add them in the dough when you're mixing, and then you can add butter, the cinnamon sugar, and then raisins on top, and then roll it up and bake it as normal. Now, I have noticed when I used to do that, the rolls, like when you cut into it, the rolls come apart more. The raisins kind of make the roll, the laminations, if you will, I guess, from, you know, each time you roll it, there's that swirl, and they pull apart from each other. So the bread will kind of not fall apart, it's just separated from itself in the roll. So if you have the raisins in the dough, much simpler, then you just have, it's like a cinnamon roll, your normal cinnamon roll, which I have a really good recipe for, we'll do one day. So raisin, cinnamon in the dough, then we'll have butter and the sugar cinnamon mix, and we're going to roll it and bake it at 350, and this is the one loaf where you have to let it cool. I usually don't let it cool. We just eat right into the loaf as soon as it comes out of the oven. But this is like sticky, gooey goodness that is amazing. It will leak right out of your loaf. So when you get it out, you gotta fight the urge, or else have a really big mess on your hand, and let it cool for at least a half an hour. Now, there's another fun thing that you can do. So I have these 2 loaves ready to just rise. If it's around the Thanksgiving time, can we make it a little bit wider here? Here, let me see. You did a great job. I'm really proud of you. Instead of putting butter down, you can put down pumpkin puree, and then you can add into the sugar, instead of cinnamon, this pumpkin pie spice, or you can have your cinnamon and the pumpkin pie spice, whatever your your family enjoys, and then do it kind of a Thanksgiving cinnamon raisin bread. It's like pumpkin pie latte in a loaf if you want. And it's really good with coffee. All these are. Actually, when you bake this, it's really good to do French toast with this too. So there's 100 things to do with a good cinnamon raisin loaf here. But if you want to add nuts to this, like in here, you can add nuts into the dough when you're doing your dough. You can add anything, raisins, cranberries. What else? What could go in cinnamon bread?
About anything.
Anything? Okay, yeah.
Orange slices.
Orange slices, sure. Why not? Go crazy. This is a time of people who put cloves in theirs. If that's what your family likes, then that's what you do. Okay, we've got this pretty even, and this is what I'm saying about these. This is too short here, so we just kind of meander the loaf this way, squish, 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 and now we have a nice, rectangle-ish. If you're a person who can always get a good rectangle, good on you, because I try my hardest. But at least this doesn't look like, Australia or Ireland or something. So it's rectangular-esque. So we've done, let's see, it's going to be a little bit bigger. That's all right. We'll squidge a bit. Okay. We've done about 6 tablespoons of butter. You can add more if you want. If you don't like butter, you can skip the butter altogether. You can whip up some eggs or egg whites if you want, and just put it on here to help the sugar stick. You can, use any sort of butter substitute that you want, whatever. I just like to put something down because it helps the sugar cinnamon stick in here. And I mean, for us, it's butter. It's yummy. So what are you gonna do? Okay, you can put all that. Just keep putting it on until you don't have any left. Okay, so I want to tell you, in our journey to eat better, to make our guts healthy, to make us healthier, we first learned about wheat berries and how it's the wheat berry, milling your own wheat berry, having that freshly milled wheat is exponentially more healthy than the dead kind of store-bought flour or old, freshly milled flour that's older because it loses its nutrients. Which led us to learn about salt. Jesus said, be the salt. We're supposed to season like salt. Well, salt's supposed to be bad for you, right? Salt causes heart conditions and all kinds of stuff, bloating and so you think salt's bad. But actual real salt, we switched from just your regular white table salt, iodized table salt, to Redmond's real salt. It is literally, our goal for our family is, what form does the thing we want to eat come in, right? Wheat would come in a wheat berry, so I'm going to take the wheat berry and mill it myself. Salt comes out of the earth. We buy Redmond's real salt now. It's taken out of the earth. Literally nothing's done to it. It's not heated. Vitamins aren't pulled from it. Nutrients, minerals aren't pulled from it. I think it's just grinded down. You can get coarser or finer versions of it, but it's just pulled from the earth and it is sent to us. It's actually, pink in color, and it looks very dirty. It looks like there's little specks of something in there. Well, that's all the minerals that are in salt. Real salt does not make, now nothing in, taking a lot of it, but real salt doesn't make you sick. Real salt has these nutrients in it. Real salt helps you be healthier. You're supposed to have salt. When you go to the hospital, if you're sick, they give you, first thing, an IV of water and saline, right? Water and salt. Salt is supposed to be in you. You need salt to function. You need salt for the electrical impulses in your brain to work, right? You need this. But the white table salt has had everything stripped from it and been heated and treated and pulled apart, just like the wheat. What we've done to our food is so horrible, but we don't know about it. Nobody's telling us about it, so I'm going to tell you till you're tired of hearing it. Get stuff in the closest form to how it comes as you can, right? So we learned about flour. We switched our salt to Redmond's real salt. There is pink Himalayan salt, but when I researched it, I found that it goes through a lot of different countries who don't quite have the same standards of keeping it, like not heat treating it. and they don't have to say what they've done to it to get it to you. I used to buy it in bulk at our local Sprout store, and I asked them, do you know where it comes from? And they said, no. I said, do you know if it's been heated or treated in any way? And they said, no. I said, well, you know, if I'm going to buy salt, I got to get something that I know is good. So what I found is Redmond's real salt. But anyway, so then we went into sugar. Well, sugar is, you know, white crystallized stuff that we know has been treated and stripped and messed up, just like the original stuff, right? Like the wheat and the salt. So we learned there's a few different kinds of things you can use for sweeteners. I don't know about the array of them. What I do know is a product called Sucanat. S-U-C-A-N-A-T, Sucanat. And it's we'll put a shot in here of the Sucanat. It is literally, so this is Sucanat. It's coarser looking than brown sugar. It smells just like brown sugar, but it's the evaporated cane juice. This is just I think it's terracotta. It's something to keep the moisture out of sugar and brown sugar. But that's Sucanat. This is honey granules. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's kind of the same coarseness. Cane sugar, cane juice, they get from the sugar cane that grows. It's put out and the water is evaporated off it. This is what's left. Nothing's been done to it. It's not been stripped of its nutrients. It does have some vitamins and minerals. Obviously it's sugar, so you know we don't want to go crazy with that, but if you're going to eat some sugar, make the better choice and have you know, the closest to how it comes version as possible. So Sucanat is sweet, but it's got all that molasses in it. It's got a rich, bold flavor. And Sucanat you would use 1 for 1 with brown sugar. So if a recipe calls for 1 cup brown sugar, 1 cup Sucanat. 1 cup, you know, half cup, right? It's 1 for 1. And there's another product, this we use for brown sugar substitute. It can be used for brown and white sugar substitute, but there is a product called honey granules, which is, to my knowledge, when they're evaporating the water from the cane juice, they just add honey to that, and it makes it lighter and sweeter. So this is adding something to something, but it's 2 natural products. So the honey granules, it's 1 for 1 with white sugar. So if they call for white sugar, oh here, you can start adding this. This is our cup of Sucanat and heaping tablespoon of cinnamon. So just sprinkle it real evenly. Oh, good job, wonderful. So the honey granules, 1 for 1 for sugar. So now we still make brownies, cakes, cookies, pancakes, breads, desserty treat breakfast breads. We've done donuts. You know, everything we used to make, we still make. We haven't had to give anything up, except for croissants, because the wheat itself is pretty heavy, and I haven't found a way to make croissants very light and fluffy. So, you know, if we have to give up something, that's okay. But we can still have all the good food that we want. We have found our own version of Cheez-It crackers and goldfish crackers. We have a sourdough cracker that's delightful, and whenever they want regular flour, well, it takes me a little while, a few tries. We've been through some bad stuff. A heavy-handed flour or too little flour, but we find a way and we get what we want. We went through how many pancake recipes? 4 or 5, yeah, we went through 4 or 5, and then one Sunday after church we came home and tried another one, and all of us went, ooh, this is it, right? We said, this is a good one. So that's what we use now for pancakes and waffles. So you don't have to give anything up. There's only a little bit more effort in making your own bread, but it's really simple, and we've not regretted the change ever. I think one time I was just tired. We homeschool, we do a lot of stuff. One time I said, oh, we need more bread, I have to make more bread. Oh, I always have to do this, you know, and I kind of pity. And then I stopped and I thought, no, I get to make bread that's healthy and that makes us feel better, and I get to do this. I have the things I need to do it. stop complaining, and so that was my one moment of weakness there. But anyways, that's our honey and sucanat, or excuse me, honey granules for white sugar replacement, sucanat for brown sugar replacement. And Amelia is doing an amazing job here. You're welcome. Okay, and sucanat you can get from Azure Standard. I am fairly certain the Natural Grocer has it. If you order from Sue Beckers, she has a co-op also, but it comes once every 4 months, so you have to really plan ahead. You can get sucanat and honey granules there. Honey granules, the only place I know to get them is from Sue Becker. I don't see that Azure has them, but I've not looked up like Pleasant Hill Grains or anything. So when I start to get low, I'm going to scramble to find where to get those. But okay, so we've done the butter. We've done the cinnamon and sucanat. So now what we're going to attempt to do is roll this up. What we want to do is have tight rolls. You don't want to loosely roll it, because when it bakes, you're going to see spaces in between the rolls. So you're going to want to pick it up here, and if you have a better way, let me know. But what I know is to start a roll, and then we're going to pull it tight, pull back, and do another roll. And pull back a little bit, do another roll. We're going to pull back a little bit, do another roll. So we're going to keep pull, roll, pull, roll, pull, roll. Oh yeah, it's going to come out the sides a bit. It's going to come out the sides a bit. It still tastes good. Baking is fun. You can add nuts, raisins, cranberries, and I tell my kids, just like art, there's no bad art. You can't art wrong. You can't bake too wrong, right? If you got the right ingredients, it's going to be what it's going to be. It's going to be really, really good. I've not made too many things that turned out poorly, except for that I was trying new recipes and I didn't know how much of what to put in. Okay. So now I have to squidge, and I don't really want to be squidging, but I pulled out as I was rolling. So
It's an inchworm.
it's an inchworm, yeah, like a cocoon. So we want to put this seam side down. This is our end seam, and we want it on the bottom so the top looks prettier when it comes out. So seam side down. I'm just going to kind of scrunch to get it in here. When this rises, we're going to let all the bread rise 30 minutes. This is not going to be as tall and fluffy as your normal loaf, just because it's got a lot of stuff in it that weighs it down a bit. You are going to see it rise, and we'll show a picture of it after 30 minutes. But here is our bread in here, seam side down, and we're going to stick it in an oven to rise 30 minutes. All right, the loaves have risen 30 minutes in just the plain oven with the light on for warmth, no heat. The normal bread loaves, plain bread loaves, have risen like they should. And you're going to notice that the cinnamon roll, it hasn't expanded and it hasn't risen high. If you feel like you want to, you can let it rise a little bit more. I found that if we just bake it, it does turn out quite lovely. It's got a lot of extra bulk in it, keeping the structure from rising. So you're not going to get the rise you want to see out of it like these loaves, but it is going to turn out delicious and yummy. The more things you add to your loaf, the less it's going to rise. So this is after 30 minutes, and I am preheating my oven right now to 350. These bake for your regular 30 minutes. This tends to bake for 40 to 45 minutes. It seems quite long. If you have a thermometer like this, a baking thermometer, you want it to be around 180, 190. I know the regular thing to say is 190, but I've done this usually at 180, and then we just leave it in the pan when it comes out, because it's going to drip all that gooey, yummy goodness. So you have to leave it for at least 15 minutes. If you can try for a half an hour until you can pull it out and it's quite cool, then you can cut into it. So we're going to bake this 30 minutes, 40 to 45, pending your oven. Some are hot, some are cool. And I will see you when we are done with them. All right, so our normal bread loaves baked for 30 minutes. Will look nice and fluffy. And this one ended up baking for about 45 minutes. I think the only thing I would do differently is indeed let it rise a little bit more, maybe 40 minutes instead of 30 minutes, simply because it kind of is a little bit wonky right here. But it's all going to taste good. It smells so good, and we can't wait to get into it. So maybe when you try it, just let it rise a wee bit more, 10-15 minutes or so. But you can't really go wrong. There's really no mistakes. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next week.